We do. And, the first instinct is often just shut it up, right? Make it go away.
Right. But, well, what if silencing it isn't really the answer? That's what we're exploring.
Okay.
This deep dive, it really challenges that idea. We're drawing on research, trauma psychology, neuroscience, therapy, and it suggests the inner critic isn't, some fatal flaw or enemy.
So it's not just me being hard on myself.
No, it's more like a flawed protective mechanism,
Yeah.
really deep-rooted, often starting way back, linked to survival. So we want to offer a clearer picture and maybe a path towards real change.
A roadmap. Okay, I like that. So let's define terms. What is this self-criticism we're talking about exactly?
Basically, it's a harsh self-judgment. It often comes with feelings of worthlessness, thinking back over mistakes constantly, that negative self-talk loop.
I always mess up. I'm not smart enough, that kind of thing. Precisely. Judging yourself against these really tough, often unspoken standards, it's relentless.
Exhausting. So how is that different from, just wanting to improve? Is there a healthier voice?
Absolutely. That's the key distinction. The critic versus a supportive inner coach.
The coach?
Yeah. The coach is positive. It encourages growth. So the critic might scream, "You're terrible at science. You'll never get it."
Ouch. Yeah.
Whereas the coach might say, "Okay, science isn't your natural strength, maybe, but look at what you are good at. And hey, you can definitely improve here with some practice." See the difference? One condemns, the other supports.
That's huge. One tears you down, the other builds you up. But if it's so damaging, why?
Yeah.
Why do we have it? You said survival mechanism. That seems like a paradox.
It does, doesn't it? But think about it from a child's perspective. It often starts there as a way to anticipate and maybe avoid criticism or blame from the outside world.
Like trying to be perfect so no one gets mad.
Kind of. Freud talked about the superego, that internalized rule book, and it connects to our survivor brain, the limbic system, which is always scanning for danger.
Okay, but how does blaming yourself help you survive?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting and kind of sad. For a child dependent on caregivers, if the environment feels critical or unsafe, it can actually feel safer to think, "I'm bad," or "it's my fault."
Safer than what?
Safer than confronting the idea that the people you rely on are unfair or unreliable. Blaming yourself gives you a sense of control, even if it's false. It preserves that essential attachment.
Wow. So you internalize the blame to feel safe.
Exactly. And that pattern, that sort of blame shifting onto yourself, it just sticks. It becomes an adult habit, still trying to protect you from perceived threats long after the original situation is gone.
And you feel it physically too, right? That shame.
Oh, absolutely. That tightness in your chest, the racing heart, feeling small, unworthy. That's the body holding on to that feeling.
It runs deep. And you mentioned trauma, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk's work.
Yes. His research is crucial here. He talks about trauma not just as a story of something that happened then, but as this residue that's living inside of you now.
In the form of?
Horrible sensations, panic reactions. It literally changes your brain. The amygdala, your fear center, becomes hyperactive. The prefrontal cortex, which helps with self-awareness and control, can become less active. Memory that's fragmented.
So you keep reliving it almost.
In a way, yeah. And here's a really critical piece. During a flashback or intense trigger, Broca's area, the speech center in the brain, can actually shut down.
Shut down?
Yeah. It makes the trauma, in many ways, a speechless experience, which tells us why just talking about it sometimes isn't enough. You need approaches that involve the body.
That makes so much sense. It's not just in your head. But okay, this isn't just an individual thing floating in space, is it? Society plays a role.
Oh, massively. It's like a societal echo chamber. Think about burnout culture.
Right. Hustle culture, always needing to do more.
Exactly. And it's easy to blame individuals for burnout, but that feels, well, narrow-minded. The inner critic thrives in that environment, pushing for perfectionism, demanding more and more until you hit burnout.
Which the WHO defines as what? Depletion, cynicism?
Energy depletion, feeling cynical or detached from your work, and reduced effectiveness.
Yeah.
And even procrastination. It's often not laziness.
What is it then?
It can be the critic whispering, "You're going to fail anyway, you'll screw this up." It's fear-driven protection, paradoxically leading to inaction. And the physical toll, fatigue, anxiety, headaches, stomach issues, it's all connected.
Okay, so it's deep-seated, it's physical, it's amplified by culture. How on earth do we start to, rewire this?
Well, the healing often has to start in the body, befriending your body, as strange as that might sound.
How do you do that?
Things like mindfulness, yoga, not just for flexibility, but for regulating the nervous system. Even simple things like self-compassionate touch. Placing a hand on your heart when you feel that critic flare up, it sends a signal of safety.
So, calming the physical response first. And what about the mindset?
Self-compassion is really the antidote here. Treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a struggling friend.
Easier said than done sometimes.
It takes practice. Strategies help, like becoming a thought detective, really questioning those negative thoughts. Are they actually true? Or just old stories, and simply labeling the voice, there's the critic again, can create some helpful distance. Mindfulness.
And you mentioned narrative, letting go of old stories. Lori Gottlieb talks about therapy helping you unknow yourself.
Yes, it's about rewriting your story. And a key part of that is moving from self-blame to self-responsibility.
What's the difference there?
Blame keeps you stuck in the past, feeling helpless. Responsibility says, okay, that happened. I can't change that. But now I'm in charge of my choices. I can choose how to respond, how to move forward. It's empowering.
Right. Not blaming yourself for the past, but taking ownership of your present.
Precisely.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for someone listening? It sounds like it's not about waging war on this inner voice.
Definitely not. It's not about silencing it, but understanding it. Transforming it maybe into a source of wisdom even. Remember, it started as a misguided protector.
Misguided, yeah.
So healing is really about, compassionate re-engagement. Our advice. Actively practice self-compassion, even small acts daily. Explore those mind-body practices. Find what works for you to soothe your nervous system and start looking at your narrative. Can you shift from blame to responsibility?
And getting help if it feels too big to handle alone.
Absolutely. If that voice feels overwhelming, seeking professional support is a sign of strength, not weakness.
So maybe the final thought for you to consider is this. The path isn't fighting a part of yourself, but perhaps befriending it. How can you get curious about what that critical voice is really trying to tell you and maybe translate its old fear into new wisdom?